Okay, please forgive my lower production value, but I wanted to get this out since it seemed pretty timely. Kuna Police posted about 4 hours ago community awareness. At approximately 2 p.m., Kuna Police received several calls in regard to an armed subject wearing Army fatigues in the area of North Sparrowhawk Avenue and East Bay Owl Drive. One caller said the weapon the subject was carrying had an orange tip, possibly indicating a paintball gun, but we are unable to confirm this information. Several Kuna police officers are searching the area. If you see the subject, please stay away and call 911. Update. We have suspended our search due to the fact that we received information this was just a juvenile with a toy and not a real weapon. Thank you to everyone who provided information. Please remember to call 911 in an emergency and 208-377-6790 for non-emergency assistance. Now, I've been busy, and that's why, I'm not in my, get the normal camera and microphone quality. But one thing that's interesting is when this first came up, there was somebody who actually had posted here in the comments indicating that they're like, it's like, it's not a really big deal. I know the kid or something, or I know it's just a kid with orange tip. It's just a toy gun or something like that. And then actually the Kuna Police Facebook profile responded and stated something to the effect of, yes, we are aware of that report. We received it. Something like we're investigating it or we investigated it. And if you have any more information, please call, whatever this number is. So it was a little bit kind of a weird response. I remember seeing it in passing. The comment is gone. It was deleted. And I don't know if the original person who posted it, maybe they deleted the thread, which caused the response to be just, deleted. Whenever I start seeing government agencies having their comments that get deleted, when I looked at it, I was like, maybe it really is just a kid, because at that time they didn't have the update. So somebody basically reported in the comments section, I believe it was within 1 hour of the posting, and said, yeah, it's just some kid, who did it. Maybe he ended up calling in and then deleted his post. I'm not exactly sure. But the response to the Kuna Police, it appeared they were like, yeah, we already investigated it. That's not the reason. And, call us rather than post or something like that if you have any further information. So, I can't, this is all just what I recollect from reading it, and it could be completely off because I'm reporting it, and I could be totally wrong. I might put out a public records request to see if the Kuna Police Department recorded that particular comment of what they posted, so that I can, report accurately what was there. This thing is kind of interesting. So if you're familiar with, auditing, like Second Amendment audits and all that, the city of the city of Kuna is actually a Second Amendment sanctuary city, and this was done by city council members. I believe it was unanimously voted back around 2020 or 2021. I have I actually have a video pre-recorded just reading the decree on that, and from what I recollect, it basically says the city of Kuna will not provide any sort of resources to anything that infringes on the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, and maybe I think something to do with the Idaho Constitution. I don't remember the exact text, but the implications could be, and I'm not saying to do this, but you can imagine, because it is a Second Amendment sanctuary city, I think people can just open carry the rifles, just like they were doing in the city of Boise, and I believe in Sandpoint or Coeur d'Alene. They were doing that when they heard that there was going to be some BLM protests there. I mean, they all suited up in their tactical gear, and they lined the streets. I mean, this is well known. So, this news came just a couple days ago. You remember me posting about the call regarding the two hunters that were, that I think were shooting shotguns about about 200 yards south of a park. There's, the city of Kuna is surrounded by farmland, so they're okay to, it's legally okay to hunt that way. And so we may be running into an issue where you have, I'm not saying to do this, but this is kind of a tough sort of situation. I'm not saying I know one way or the other, but you could imagine a situation where somebody wants to audit the Kuna police, which are actually contracted from the Ada County Sheriff's Department. They're not the chief of police of Kuna. There is no chief of police of Kuna. It's just, I believe it might be a lieutenant or a captain that is overseeing like the Kuna offices. I'm not sure exactly how it's structured, but it's just contracted out. So arguably, the Kuna police, even though they call Kuna police, they're actually part of the Ada, county sheriffs. I don't know to what degree they care about city ordinances regarding the city of Kuna being the Second Amendment sanctuary city, because maybe the sheriff has their own, rules and regulations. I'm not sure if the city of Kuna gave them specific notification, being like, look, don't be, arresting people that are within the law, the state of Idaho law and the Second Amendment, and carrying around, because we are a sanctuary state for the Second Amendment. So these kinds of stories, I mean, ultimately nothing happened with the hunters, but you can imagine like what they call the Second Amendment or First Amendment auditors, walking around really trying to provoke some kind of encounter, and where maybe the Ada County Sheriff's Office have their own separate policy than what the ordinance or what the declaration of the Second Amendment city of Kuna being in conflict. And then now you have this sort of situation. I'm not saying I know 100% for sure on this, just some thoughts that came up with this. And I don't know if we're going to be seeing further issues of this. Common sense would seem to dictate you're not going to be carrying around AR-15s, around. But I mean, that is legally your right, especially if the city of Kuna is a Second Amendment sanctuary city. So yeah, you could just walk around with AR-15s, open carry, and without the orange tips. And will the city of Kuna just start getting overwhelmed with calls and then just be like, look, unless they look like they're being aggressive and like they're going to attack somebody, not just like, because you can't just because you're dressed in fatigues and open carrying an AR-15, and you could be in full battle gear, Kevlar helmet, body armor, you could just be LARPing, right? Like a lot of the paintball, a lot of the airsoft guys do MILSIM, military simulation. And so they look like, scary, but they're just LARPing. I mean, they're live action role playing. They're just, like I said, MILSIM, military simulation. But even if they were wearing actual gear, I'm just picturing these Second Amendment auditors, because you see these guys happening in Florida. One gentleman will be carrying like a fisherman's pole, because in, I guess, some part of Florida, you are allowed to carry a rifle while you are hunting. And I guess fishing is included with that hunting part. So he'll have a fishing pole, and he's walking to the docks and walking around the city with an AR-15, and then he'll record his encounters and post them on YouTube of police questioning him, and then he'll be like, "Am I being detained?" That that question if you've seen these videos. But anyway, all right, have a good one.